All right, Aquarius, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for December 25th through the 31st of 2017, and this video is for Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out that link down below. We're using the actual size of the constellations, which does change the signs from mainstream astrology. All right, so Aquarius, this week we have a lot of concentration on your 11th house, which is the house of friends, network circles, and maybe even your future ideals. I think there's more of a focus here since last week that you can continue to develop this area with. I think a lot of you have learned some things regarding your career or your public life these past few weeks with Mercury retrograde, but now Mercury's direct. So things moving forward maybe in the career sector. And the week does end with Mars going into your 9th house, which is the house of manifestation, possibilities, and potentials. We've already started to expand your mind here in December, but now some motivation and drive going into January about you putting some drive into your inspirations, into these possibilities, and maybe even into philosophy and travel and things like that. So let's look at all of this here in more detail when we return. All right, Aquarius, so here's your chart for the week. There's the concentration of energy in your 11th house. Again, this is the house of groups and friends, and it's also the house of your future ideals. What are your hopes and wishes for the future? So this is an area that you've recently started to take seriously, I think, here in December, whether it's your friends, whether it's your future ideals, or both. And so now there's some activation as there was last week with this area. And it starts on Monday with Venus going over your ruler Saturn here. Or first of all, you could just be feeling good, looking good. There's this kind of new sense of self with beauty and with enjoyment and maybe relationships, a new chapter in relationships. But this is in the area of your, again, groups and ideals. So this whole new chapter, like I said, starting since December of this month, going into the next 2 years of building upon this area. You know, what do you want to take seriously and establish with your community or with your future ideals? And you'll be working at this, and it will be built over these next couple years. So another step in the right direction with that. You could be taking that stuff seriously, which is great, giving you another foot forward. So once we get to midweek, Mars is going to be trining up to Neptune. It is an easygoing energy, which is nice. And this is supporting you when it comes to depth and intimacy in your life, which I think a lot of you have been over the past couple months or longer, actually. There's been a lot of emphasis on this area. And if you include Jupiter, it's really been the past year. So lots of emphasis on depth, intimacy, openness, but there's a bit of easygoingness about it here midweek, and probably a bit of easygoingness with your career and your productive life, maybe some serendipity, some nice supportive energy there. Your communications are quite easygoing, and you're just all in all, you know, just feeling a bit receptive, and that you're starting to see how things happen in divine timing and all this, which is Neptune in your first house. You know, we don't always have to have everything figured out, know who we are and stuff. We can kind of go with the flow, and that's what Neptune in the first house has been helping you do. And I think this week you're really seeing that. So that's midweek with that. And then once we get to the weekend, Mars does go into your 9th house, which is that house of manifestation, which, like I said, since December of this month, you've been starting to open your horizons, right? Tap into that adventurous spirit, see possibilities and potentials in your life. And some of you will have opportunities for about the next year to maybe travel, maybe go to university, just expand your horizons either mentally or quite literally. And so now going into January, Mars is giving you some drive and motivation here. You can be motivated here. So really good to put that drive into your inspirations, into the future, into manifestation or whatever it is, and just expand your horizons as well. It could be physical as well. Maybe you're going for runs out in nature or riding horses or something like that. That's very free-spirited for you, and I think very energizing as well. So very good for that. And I do want to mention that this week Mercury is direct. Mercury went direct last weekend, and so, you know, the past few weeks, if you've been rethinking, reestablishing things with your work, your career, or your public image in some way, that stuff is moving forward for you this week. Really good for implementation and just starting to continue to move this area forward. All right, so Aquarius, have a fantastic week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next forecast.